Effective pandemic preparedness demands that governments confront hard questions about sovereignty. No one is safe until everyone is safe. But what can be done when a country fails to take measures to control? A. It poses a threat not only to its own people, but also to its neighbors and beyond. In November 2021, they had a meeting. We were busy with the Freedom Convoy and all that kind of stuff happening here. Freedom for our countries. World Health Organization was meeting, setting up the groundwork for this new pandemic treaty. And now, by 2024, they want to adopt this instrument. The World Health Organization from Europe has an article. They've got a think tank called the EuroHealth. What is it? It's a publication, from 2021, EuroHealth issue number 27, 12 September 2021. Got a bunch of articles over here. One of them very specifically is effective pandemic preparedness and hard questions about sovereignty. The limits of sovereignty in a pandemic. It's a cliche that microorganisms do not respect national frontiers. Yet when we look at all the maps at the spread, the frontiers are often clearly visible. Governments respond differently. Absolutely they do. We now know that successive waves have been spread from very certain countries. What do we do when countries fail to suppress that potential, that threat? Is that a threat to the entire world? And what should we do about it? Where does national sovereignty begin? Where does it end? What does it mean in practice? Countries are sovereign. They make their own laws and create the structures and institutions to implement and uphold them. Indeed, some have elevated the pursuit of sovereignty above almost all other goals, regardless of the cost. That's a big deal right there. Think about that for a minute. So they're making a case here that countries, their sovereignty is actually threatening other countries and the global health of the world, because if a certain country does not do what it should do, then it becomes a danger to others. For over a century, in some cases far longer, most countries have recognized there are reasons for pooling their sovereignty for the greater good. The greater good. It's always about the greater good. Pooling their sovereignty. What does that mean? To pool your sovereignty kind of means abdicating your sovereignty, at least the way I'm reading it. Do we elect the WHO? Do we elect any of these supranational government governing bodies? I know I don't. I give my vote locally. I give it for the federal government. That's about it, really. Now, as the governments of the world look to build back better, it is time to reflect on whether and how they may share sovereignty in the interests of protecting health. That in the pre-2005 international health regulations, reporting of outbreaks was the prerogative of the national government. So the national government itself, it was their prerogative to declare a reporting of an outbreak. It was difficult for the World Health Organization to act in places where the government denied the presence of an outbreak. Were several well-known examples of where this happened. The new regulations enable the World Health Organization to draw on other sources of evidence and, where necessary, to challenge governments in denial. What does that mean? Challenge governments in denial. So they don't agree with the government of a country, and they can challenge that. What does that mean? There's examples here where the international community imposes sanctions when there's a threat to security in military terms. So that kind of begs a question. When they threaten, if you can declare, if the World Health Organization can now declare, the supranational organization, the superpower World Health Organization can declare that your country is a threat to world health, then can you now get the other countries that are part of the World Health Organization that have all committed to keeping up all their values and their ratified rules and regulations, can you now impose sanctions on another country bypassing their sovereignty? Where next? So what needs to happen now? We clearly need far better internationally comparable health data if we are to have early warning of health threats. Now that kind of begs a question though. How do you get that true data? How do you get that data out of China, for example? Are you getting valid data? This is not just a technical issue. Although agreeing on definition, standards, and interoperability of systems will be complicated enough, it will also require substantial donor assistance, financial and technical, to put systems in place while navigating concerns about issues such as privacy and cybercrime. That right there tells me that they're planning on tracking health information for the residents, for the citizens of sovereign nations. You're going to need substantial donor assistance. I'm thinking the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, financial and technical systems, while navigating concerns about privacy and cybercrime. If you talk about privacy and cybercrime right away, you're really saying that privacy and cybercrime, it means that you've got some kind of technical solution that's going to contain that data of those citizens. But this will require an acceptance that a strengthened World Health Organization as the custodian of such a treaty must have the power to ensure accurate reporting, transparent risk assessment, and measures to fix any weakness that are revealed, just as has happened in the global financial system, making it able to respond to threats arising. Wow. It's the case for a superpower World Health Organization, an absolutely superpower World Health Organization. So what do we do when a state does not comply? And it says here, as we've seen repeatedly, legal compliance has often outpaced state capacity or the incentives of politicians to comply. Is there a case for a mechanism to take concerted international action where a government is failing to take preventive, effective measures to control the spread beyond its borders? Does the international community have a responsibility or a duty to protect those living within the borders of a country that is failing to protect its population? So you're failing to protect your own people. If you're failing to protect your own people, does the international community now have a right to protect your people because your government for your country is failing to protect its people? An outside international organization decides that your government is not protecting you, so they want to now force you to comply somehow or force your government to take actions that they deem actionable. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm, as usual, amazed. All right, and where are we in the process over here? Well, it says right here on the 3rd of March, the Council adopted a decision to authorize the opening of negotiations in November 2021. They had a meeting. We were busy with the Freedom Convoy and all that kind of stuff happening here. Freedom for our countries. World Health Organization was meeting, setting up the groundwork for this new pandemic treaty. And now, by 2024, they want to adopt this instrument. They're calling it an instrument. It is... the next meeting is on the 1st of August, 2022. There it is. So, and if you go through this page, why an international pandemic instrument, it's all the great reasons: early detection, resilience, response, a one health approach connecting the health of humans, animals, and our planet. And it goes on, but you really don't get the information that you get from their actual think tank, who really outline about what it's going to boil down to. Because a treaty and rules are only so good as enforcing them, and that's what this pandemic treaty, and then having sanctions imposed on countries that don't protect their citizens or citizens of the world because they're not adequately taking precautions or taking, who knows, right? If you decide not to do a lockdown in your country, does that now mean that the World Health Organization will say, all right, all the rest of the countries, we decided we're going to impose restrictions on your country. Your sovereignty is now limited because you're a threat, you're a danger to the rest of the world. Let me know in the comment section what you think. There it is. Hail, brethren. H for honor, A for accountability, I for integrity, and L for loyalty. I hope that these organizations learn from those old school virtues that too many have forgotten. Hail, brethren.